Hello, my cabbages, and welcome back to another mapping video. This is WICSO episode 19. And as I said last episode, not much is happening here, but trust me, still stick around, because episode 20 is definitely going to be the finale. Tensions are going to be set up. But yeah, in case you didn't realize, didn't watch last episode, it was just bad on you. But, Black Team kind of took over this entire area. Yeah, which was a shock. But this even more cements the Gray Team as like the strongest team. And talking about Gray Team and the Lime Team, basically what they do is they start the Gray Team officially starts war with the Lime Team, and you might be, what about alliances? Well, they basically do kind of arena style, where they're like, hey, if we agree not to call them alliances, it's just our raw power. Because they kind of have like an ego thing where they want to like prove that they're stronger than the other, but they don't want to have any help. Yeah. But they kind of start this out. They have like a agreed date to start. And the Gray Team troops starts like lining them over here. The Lime Team troops starts aligning over here. So it's like Gray Team makes a first push and immediately capture this major city, but quickly followed up by the Lime Team kind of making a spearhead here and capturing this major city. That's like epoxy. This is war, okay. And they basically kind of just traded cities. But then the Gray Team, because this is like kind of more unstable, they kind of take it. Oh, that is so epoxy. Kind of take it and surround them and kill them off, and they're like, that did not work. So they kind of try and create a wider front and see if that works better, and it does. Like, they get back here, but kind of meanwhile that was happening, they kind of started like blitzing towards the capital. Of course, they're not going to take it yet because they kind of prepared, but they take these two major cities, and they're kind of like, okay, we got to retreat a bit, reinforce the capital. But reinforcing the capital does the exact thing that they did before. Maybe the city is not meant to be. So instead of going over here, they kind of do a snack attack. You know, it's not really working. Over here into this city and making it decently wide, which is probably a better city than they could have done before. But the Gray Team kind of just continuing to push, slowly winning over here, even with all the Lime troops that are here, making slow pushes across this front line. And the Gray Team starting to take back this area, because the Gray Team overall is just stronger, partially because they have better. I mean, actually, you know what? Let's just say, yeah, Lime Team's a diarchy, and this is a Republic, and basically, the diarchy and Republic are both like semi-corrupt, but they both kind of keep their leaders, but they take back this city again. Really not looking good for the Lime Team, but actually, while this was happening, they did, do something good here, and kind of took back this major city, and kind of pushed them back from the front line. So they're like decently evenly matched. I would say that the Gray Team has the numbers advantage, but the Lime Team has the technology advantage. Because as we look at the population map that I made, you kind of see this is like, yeah, there's still some density here, but it's like more kind of dense, and you still got like cities down here that they have. So yeah, they have more population. I'm telling you so. Santa Claus is coming to town, but the Gray Team continues to push back here until they get it kind of back to where it was before, and start reinforcing this line again. And instead of going for this city, they go straight for the capital, and they're kind of like, and they kind of heavily reinforce here. But like, this uses a lot of their troops, and they realize, oh, the Gray Team still has troops coming because they have the numbers advantage, like I said, and they realize we're kind of running out of troops and recruitments for the army, and this is already not going too well. So they decide to basically retreat, but like retreat in a way where it's kind of like, they admit their defeat and kind of allow the Gray Team to make the terms, and basically they're like, hey, can you like get away from our capital a bit but like we'll give you some other areas. So they just want to perform a defensive wall against here, but because of doing that, you know, giving them so much land over here, they kind of have to cede them land elsewhere. So they're kind of like, you know, take like land over here and take some big, and this land's not as valuable because it's like outskirt land, and take even this major city. So it's kind of like keeping them out of their capital region, but still they still get a lot of land, and even giving them this major city. So but that's basically I would do peace treaty, but it's literally only 2 nations, so I can, yeah, I'm just working this out now. And basically this is what it, yeah, that's kind of ugly. This is basically what it amounts to, and just Gray Team definitely won this war, and they're kind of like, not really liking this. So yeah, Gray Team getting a bit squashed here, but yeah, they kind of regret not doing this with their allies, but they're like, we just gotta, they basically start, the diarchy kind of wasn't doing the best at generals, but they basically start looking for better generals, because if, like, they already have the technology advantage, but they want to get a bigger lead to be kind of like, you know, just kind of be like, Hasavinya, what am I saying? They basically just want to get a bigger lead here. Meanwhile, yeah, this team hasn't really expanded in a while, so they decide to kind of expand across the bay more, and, you know, kind of expand up here. The government team, yeah, let's just kind of say they have the original government team up here kind of has like continuous sanction thing, so they kind of have to continually give money payments to the original to the new orange team, so they're kind of not really expanding because they can't, and they'd rather spend their budget on other things. So, but they do decide to explore a bit more and kind of go out and be like, ew. So they actually explore a decent bit, but, you know, making sure to keep their populace happy, by, you know, expanding. Gotta update the religion map, just think about that. And so does this country, the earthquake guys, which around, like, you know, Bay Area. Yeah, I'll go a bit more inland. I really need to make this better. I should have just done like one consistent pressure. I don't know what I was thinking. What was I on? Like, no, seriously. Yeah, I'm gonna fix that right now. And you're gonna see how I fix this. This is ugly. Yeah, so I'm just gonna boom, boom, and then just kind of make this thicker. Like, seriously, isn't that just so much better? Ooh. And then... Nope, what? No, redo. Okay, like... And this one I don't need to erase, I can just kind of... This one's not as bad, but still. There we go. Yeah, okay. So that's a bit better. Ooh, salvation. Using an update, I kind of didn't do anything here, but basically, well, let's just say, like Gray Team over here, kind of just, well, leader dies, and like the Gray Team does, nation, and let's have new, oh wait, I already have a new gold team, because the old one collapsed. New hot pink team, that is a very bright pink. We actually have a hot pink team. And they kind of, they're actually not in the, you know, let's just kind of, actually not in the personal union area, because they kind of stay like right outside of it. That's kind of how they split up the border. So yeah, the hot pink. This is a very hot to pink. So it looks, it's quite a choice. But yeah, so they're technically not part of this, area, this stone. But, they're still kind of there in spirit, I guess. In spirit. Then the Florida, I'm just gonna call them Florida. They're the Florida guys. Decide to expand more in the Florida Peninsula. Actually expand quite a bit to really become Florida. So yeah, we got Florida being, pretty expanded upon. So, yeah, good for them. Because their island nations are pretty, full. Honestly, not much has been happening with this nation, but, it's kind of not much to happen here, because all the islands are explored. But, actually, let's say they have an island war with the green team. There's, a petty dispute, let's just say they made this deal a while. Actually, let's just have a new rebellion. Because, these guys kind of want a different government. Because, what government did I give these guys? Good question. I gave them elected monarchy. That's elected monarchy. So they're kind of like these guys over here. Is that? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Are kind of like, hey, we kind of don't like that. For some reason why they're particularly strong towards diarchies, let's say. I don't know why diarchies specifically, but let's do a black purple, so even darker purple. And they're kind of like, hey, nope, and kind of these southern islands kind of just rebel. So yeah, not good for them. But so they're kind of just, have to deal with it. Because they're, no, that's the exact same color though. I gotta do something at least a bit different. There we go. But yeah, so this new nation is kind of just, they're basically just the new independence nation, and because I talked about this for some reason, they are going to become the world's second diarchy, because, I don't know, they just like diarchies. Don't question them. Why are you questioning them? I said don't question them. That's very rude. Wrong layer. That's very rude. What am I on? Oh wait, how have I not noticed that? That is not the right color right there. That is annoying. There we go. Yeah, so like I said, kind of waiting for some of this for episode 20. I know, spoilers, guys, spoilers. But let's just say Black Team's been prepping. Let's just say they've been getting some help from another unnamed nation. So let's just say their alliance, speech bubbles, and the arrows are getting pretty close, and in turn, the stars and the right angle triangles are also getting pretty close. Just saying. But basically, like I was talking about before, the line team kind of tries to find better generals. Hannibal, cough cough. It's sort of Hannibal. And they basically find this really good guy. The Republic kind of is getting less incompetent because it's getting more corrupt, where only the corrupt government officials get seats of power. So that they've been getting even less competent, even though they still have the numbers advantage, probably even more now. But the Lime team's like, let's have the second Punic War. No, not Punic War. Mexican War or something like that. And they basically immediately rush with going down here, winning like 1 battle, 2 battles, 3 battles, and just kind of like winning battle after battle, and like winning another battle, winning kind of, this area is not really in the city, but still a battle, and they're kind of just winning. They've won every single battle so far, even like these smaller battles that are kind of happening right here. They even managed to break through to the Lime team, breaking through to the Pacific, which is new. Having one team, one team touch their landing and Pacific, and even break through this city, and they realize, oh, we are cooked. Before they reach the capital, we don't want to seem weak, but we kind of are weak, and we're gonna instead of getting Scipio, which happened in real life. Scipio is basically Rome's Hannibal. If you think about it, he's a pretty competent guy, but yeah, Hannibal just saw what they're doing, but instead they just resign, and they're kind of like, they're kind of like, hey, if you just kind of back away from the coast a bit, and actually, not kind of like that, just kind of, agree to have peace for a bit, then we can all be fine. We'll be fine. And they kind of just, agreed, if you don't take as much land, then we can have you have more sanctions. So it's kind of like sacrificing their economy for their land. Is that a smart move? Yeah. But you might be like, oh, they're cut off, but they still have sea trade. They're like fairly good navy, so yeah, that's not that big of a problem anymore. But yeah, so the first one they won, but now they're actually losing, and they did another one without war, without their allies. But let's just save that third part for episode 20. Let's just say these two conflicts will become interweaved. What? Spoilers? Crazy. Who would spoil this? What am I on? But the orange team, peaceful, decides to kind of, expand a bit, even cutting off the kind of dark teal team over here, which, so, sucks to be them. It sucks to be them. And the green team also kind of expands a bit over here, kind of just at their whim. A lot of teams, like I said, don't have much planned. Green team not wanting to get cut off, expands a bit. So it's just a little expansion extravaganza happening right now. As one does. Do you not do weekly expansion extravaganzas? Who are you? Who are you? Tell me. What is your address? Like, whoa. What is your address? Why am I... Seriously, what am I on? I am too much. I'm trying to make this episode interesting, even though it's not that interesting of an episode. I mean, it's pretty interesting. I would like to think it's interesting. But, this is actually a shorter episode, as opposed to next episode. I might even make it a two-parter if it comes too long. Really depends how long it's gonna be. But yeah, that's all, and goodbye, my cabbages.